were you awarded Volunteer of the Year?
I was. Now I'm going to blush. I was. I have been nominated. I actually was nominated and I did win. I won.
Which year was that?
This year we've just had, 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
So a momentous year.
A momentous year. Volunteer of the Year Central Coast through Volunteering Australia.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long have you been volunteering?
I've been in a volunteering role in many different forms, but Meals on Wheels, I've been doing it for at least 30 years, but up here on the Central Coast, I've been doing it for 21 years now.
Wow.
And I also volunteer for Orange Sky Mobile Laundry, and I've been doing that for just over 2 years.
Okay.
And then I also do volunteering overseas with my charities that I work with the cabin crew team in Manila and Johannesburg.
Okay. So cabin crew team?
Cabin crew team
Yep.
is an organisation within our cabin crew ranks that's purely volunteering. That is when we're on layovers or slip ports in places like Manila, Johannesburg, Bangkok, Mumbai used to be. We then spend our time doing work for our orphanage or whatever is what we're working on at that time in that city. So in Manila, for instance, we have an orphanage that's just for boys, and there's about 30 boys in the orphanage in Manila. So when we go there, we'll organise Christmas party for them at Christmas time, or we'll paint it, or if they need a new kitchen done, we've got crew who have got skills in electrical or plumbing and gardening, and we've put in a herb garden for the boys so they can grow their own herbs, and then they can cook them in the kitchen. And our role is to actually help the places we go to, but also to get them an education and get them out of the cycle that they're currently in. Right. So it's about lifting them and not just giving them we give them what they need, but we're also giving them more in the form of education so they can get out of that cyclic situation.
Yeah, disadvantage?
Well, half of the boys are there are orphans because their parents are actually dead because of, say, for instance, Manila, their parents have been killed because of drugs, because the Filipino president, or the mother has killed the father because of domestic violence and she's in jail, the father's dead, that's another case. Other ones, their parents have left, they're one of like 15 and the kids have been just let go, basically.
Yeah. And so that's your work with Qantas?
It's with Qantas, but it's when I'm on stand, like when I'm away with Qantas.
Okay.
But it's through a separate, it's through Qantas. Like we go there as a Qantas crew, but it's on our days off. Yep. So that's with Qantas.
So that's a long time volunteering in lots of different ways.
Yes.
So how has that been impacted over the last 12 months, if at all?
It has been impacted hugely, actually. Well, firstly, my cabin crew team we're not going there at the moment. But we're doing it remotely. So I was able to I did a fundraiser and able to send money so they could still have a Christmas and they could still have presents and we could still educate them when it needs to be, even though we're not there physically. Right. We can do that. Meals on Wheels was impacted hugely. For instance, most of our clients are in the vulnerable range, so we had like a 50% increase in people wanting Meals on Wheels, and yet our volunteering went down by about 40% because most of our volunteers are over 70. So they were afraid of volunteering and being out.
Yeah.
So we had this big gap of we need extra people who need it and less people who are able to deliver it. So in a way, even though it was unlucky for me to lose my job and be stood down as a flight attendant, I was lucky that I could stand up and give Meals on Wheels 3 days a week.
Right.
And it was a longer shift and a lot more meals to deliver. And then we also had the COVID things in place. Like I didn't have a helper. Usually there'd be 2 of us in the car, but it could only be me. And then I'd have all the sanitising things. And a lot of our other volunteers weren't really happy with being on their own in the car driving, for instance. And it was no contact. So you used to have to wait for them to come to the door. And so you wouldn't go in and do things for them, or you'd have to leave the food there at the door for them. So there wasn't that sense of being, a little bit more in their lives or spending a bit more time with them. It was just through a panel. And then Orange Sky was the same. Like we had a lot of our shifts shut down because we work with service providers who are all closed down because they couldn't have people milling around, and we do the washing, and our friends, we call them our friends, who come and do a load of washing and for free, that there was nowhere for them to go because Coast Shelter was shut down, and the community centre at Watanabe where they get, $1 meals was shut down. So we were shut down for a few months with that. So that left a few people at a loss of where to do their washing, for instance, or having to pay for it.